My friends, my friends, how's everyone doing this evening? How's everyone doing today? Happy Friday, happy Friday. It is a awesome day to just uh you know, kick back, enjoy a great conversation with your homie, your bro. Welcome to the Arrington Gavin podcast. I am your friend, Arrington Gavin, coming to you with the all new episode. Of course, every Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time via podcast and 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time via YouTube and Facebook. So I truly appreciate you all putting out the time to check out this show. Thank you for this continuous supporters as always supported this platform. I truly appreciate it. This is just something where I just enjoy to have conversation with you, the listeners, the viewers, my friends, and yeah, I'm just hype. I'm just hyped just to chop it up with you guys. Look, I had some technical difficulties before this show. I was a little worried that I'm like, hey, am I gonna be able to have this show to record the show? Like, what's gonna happen? So fortunate enough, hey, everything's working as of right now. Hopefully, we don't have any problems throughout this show. But again, just excited to always have the opportunity to sit down and talk with you all on some trending stories. Sometimes just stories that I find interesting that I want to share with you all. Sometimes I even might bring on some interesting people with great stories, and I'm like, okay, you need a platform. You need to share this out for the Raptors, not just telling me personally, but we need to share this out with people. So that's the kind of space we have here. Here and there, I might share my unfiltered opinion on uh, a talked about well talked about conversation discussion here and there, but today I am I got a few stories I want to bring up, and hope you all enjoy. So first things first, I'm gonna bring up some presidential post-presidential reactions, and I hope you all tuned in to the the most recent, the fourth and final presidential, Republican presidential uh, debate. It was quite a it was interesting. That's all I can say. It was interesting. So, as you know, News Nation, which is a fairly new news cable channel, it's actually the fastest growing. They've been promoting it, the fastest growing news cable network ever. They always promote the unbiased news, so you wouldn't really know. Hey, are you more left? Are you more right? Are you what are you? What is your brand of politics? And they're fairly middle. I mean, I tune into them all the time. I do have my uh I can critique them here and there because I'm a news buff. I watch conservative news outlets. I watch liberal news outlets. I watch fairly middle. I watch progressive. I watch them all because I'm a news guy. I just always enjoy watching the news. So it's a fairly interesting, fairly cool channel. I tune into it. Again, it's unbiased. You don't get the whole debate back and forth kind of thing, but trust and believe, the longer you start, the longer in existence it is, they're gonna start leaning towards that, back and forth kind of confrontation. But it's they've tried to not, rear to that level. But anyway, this past Wednesday, they hosted the fourth and final Republican presidential debate that was held in the University of Alabama. You had former governor of New Jersey, Chris Christie, who is, I'm surprised he's still in the whole race to begin with. His poll numbers are extremely low, and he has yet to end his campaign. His whole goal, his whole, uh, uh, uh I guess, shtick during his whole campaign has been to go after former President Donald Trump, attacking him, uh, you know, telling why America should not vote for him, so on and so on. Which I mean, hey, I got nothing against that because hey, that's how Trump has been this whole time in office, and even when he was running for his first term. So it was Chris Christie. Then we move on to former South Carolina governor and UN ambassador Nikki Haley, the only female in the GOP race, a person who was first to start her campaign. She was very low at the numbers, and because of those debates, she's always, in my opinion, succeeded, and it's built is moved her up the totem pole. Then we move on to current Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. Now, Ron DeSantis was a popular individual during the COVID era. He was a guy that really won the election because of a heavy endorsement by then President Donald Trump. But he became a fairly popular guy during the pandemic because he kept Florida open. A lot of people moved to Florida. They moved to Florida. They their jobs, their businesses succeeded, and he did a hell of a job, and it made him a very popular guy. So people are like saying, "Oh man, he has to run for office. He has my vote. He's the next Trump in line." You know, when Trump retires, I'm going with DeSantis. And so he was a very popular individual. He's also, I believe, a retired military vet. I mean, he served the country, and he has a great record. Extremely smart. I think he went to Howard. I mean, not Howard. Lord have mercy, not Howard. Harvard, and Yale. Or he's a smart individual. But very awkward though. During these debates, he's been very awkward. He has bombed in the debates. Not very aggressive. He tries to take jabs at the former president, but hey, let's be honest. Trump is a gangster. He's gangster when it comes to the insults, right? So you can try and insult him. Trump, comes up with the nicknames that gets his base attention, and they stick. He might what am I trying to say? He might patent certain insults that he has put to people. I mean, come on, Sleepy. Let's go back to the timeline of his insults. Uh Sleepy Joe, Crooked Hillary. Uh what else has he said? Ron DeSanctimonious, something crazy. He's had so many crazy names. But lastly, I want to move on to the final uh uh candidate that was in that race, because it was only four, because as you know, Trump, like every single past debate, has not showed up because he's like 60 points ahead in the polls. So to him and his team, it's like, why even show if I'm leading, right? I could agree, because again, if I'm leading and sometimes debates can win me or hurt me, why even participate? I get it. But lastly is an individual who's an entrepreneur, billionaire, 38 years old, Vivek Ramaswamy. Extremely arrogant, in my opinion. Um, he comes off as a jerk during debates because he started off with the personal insult, the personal jabs. He, during this debate, insulted Nikki Haley's intelligence. He's like, I didn't insult her intelligence. I insulted her knowledge. In my opinion, that's the same thing. Okay, if you tell an individual that I don't think you have the knowledge for this, you're insulting my intelligence. You might as well just say I'm dumb. And that's just coming from me. That's how I take it. But he insulted her to a level where, at the end of the day, agree to disagree, but don't start going after individuals, because he also brought in her daughter during a previous debate, and I mean that's when she called him scum. It was so bad, guys. This Chris Christie has stopped, because Chris Christie knows, hey, I'm I'm losing. He knows. You can't tell me that guy thinks he has a snowball chance in hell that he can uh succeed and be at least go against Donald Trump. No. But what he is great for ratings. He enjoys being on the debate stage. He enjoys the attention, because before he was doing that, he was a political commentator with ABC News. he Chris is he knew he wasn't trying to be president. Um, but he told he told Vivek Ramaswamy, like, hey, look, I've known this lady for about 20 years, 15, 20 years. Extremely intelligent woman. And you should be ashamed of yourself and you need to apologize and shut up, all that good stuff. He called him out. And no, and to me, it warmed my heart because it showed, okay, look, politics is not always cutthroat. You actually have your loyal ones out there. You have your, as an independent, seeing Republicans like a Chris Christie or a Nikki Haley, I'm like, hey, look, if any of those two had been a nominee or even led the country, I wouldn't be so gung ho. Yeah, I might not agree with a good portion of their issues, just as much as I don't agree with democratic values. But at the end of the day, hey, respect others' opinions, right? And I guess that's why I always rode in the middle, because I'm friends with everybody. I respect other people's opinions. I have my own opinions myself. And if you don't like them, y'all can French kiss my ass, okay? Because no one should feel forced to uh 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 to follow someone else's viewpoint just because that's like the common what's the word I'm looking for? The common tradition, the popular value. Like, hey, look, there's always been the saying, the thing that all African Americans are Democrats. Majority of them are actually independent. 60% of people in America are independents, okay? Because if you actually will go down the line with views, it's like, oh, look, I agree with some views on the Democrat side. Oh, I agree on some views on the Republican side. The way, man, mainstream media and just what you hear in the news and whatnot, and just what you see on TV, it's division everywhere, man. They always rather have people divide. Even politicians, there's politicians that will say, I'm always going to stay on the Republican side, regardless. Yes, some of you say, I'm always going to stay on the Democratic side, regardless. But then you have some people that are like, no, I'm bipartisan. I want to know, I'm willing to work together for the common good. And that's what we need to see in our state capital. So as you see, I have this article right here of the Washington Post. Okay, the winners and losers of the fourth Republican debate. Now they have right here, of course, number one being Donald Trump as the winner, because since then he has not been in any debate. Doesn't have to, but he has not been in any debate. His numbers increase every single time, and the brother facing, as you see right here, over 90 criminal charges, 4 separate cases. This man is facing criminal charges, and yet he's still leading for president of the United States. Like his numbers are higher than Biden at this point, and that's been spoken on national and local news outlets. But like I've told my friends before, and I've even told friends that work in politics, controversy sells, man. If you have controversy in your belt, that's gonna help you. That's not gonna break you. It's not. People love controversy, just like they love that with with any other public figure outside of politics. Controversy sells. Um, so of course, Washington Post named Donald Trump as the winner. Now, for me, I personally would go with Nikki Haley. Why? Because during this debate, every candidate knew that Nikki Haley is the person to beat. Okay? Nikki Haley is the person to beat. So DeSantis, Ramaswamy, they went after Nikki the hardest. Christie, somewhat. Christie rarely even had questions being asked him because he was so low. Like it was, yeah. They really forgot that. I mean, the first 17 minutes of the debate, he did not speak. because nothing was thrown at his side. But everybody came to Nikki Haley because she's leading. Um, I'm not being biased, but I was watching a lot of post commentary, and some one lady had actually said that this was the debate that ended Nikki Haley's campaign, because Chris Christie stood up for her. And a lot of, and even, and this is a woman on the conservative side. Now I'll tune in also to a lady on the liberal side that said that Nikki has to speak out more. If someone insults me, I'm gonna say something. She was basically saying that, I don't know if it's like a thing where women in politics have to, like, keep their mouth closed, act like a lady all the time, this and the other. No, right now you have to be a little vulgar. You have to be vicious on the tongue, right? Someone tells you to, insult you, you need to tell them to shut the hell up. Seriously, you got to be aggressive. But Nikki Haley has more class than that, obviously, so she never did that. Um, but I would personally say Nikki Haley won it. Now, I also think uh this was Chris Christie's strongest debate as well, especially catching the attention of voters, because the whole thing he was saying was true. He's like, "Hey, look, why are we talking about this? We can talk about that. Why are we talking about this? We can talk about that. We're wasting time talking about this. We can talk about that." I like stuff like that. Um, I will say, as much as I don't care for this candidate, the Florida Governor DeSantis, did better in this debate than his past three. Now I think it's a little far too late, but I think he did far better than his last few. That, and again, that's just me on that realm. Uh, we will continue to see on this election. As of right now, there are four. Excuse me. There are four. I mean five. Excuse me. Five GOP candidates that are still in the race. Those five are former President Donald Trump, Nikki Haley, former UN ambassador and governor of South Carolina, former governor of New Jersey, Chris Christie, current governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, and then entrepreneur Vivek Ramaswamy. Those are your GOP candidates, okay? Those are your Republican candidates. So if you are not a Republican by any way, still, do research on them, check them out. Hey, even if you don't vote for them come election time, at least you know exactly what to expect when it comes to their issues and what they're running for. Uh moving on. Moving on, people. Moving on. I am a movie buff. My wife and I we love to enjoy a great movie. And there is a well, it's the holiday season, so of course, I've been binge watching my Christmas movies when I have the time. I've been extremely busy this past month. Really the past, like, every day. Exhausted. But there will be a new movie debuting today, or has debuted today. And if you are familiar with the show Monk, then you would be extremely excited about this, because Monk, in the original cast of that show, is coming out with a new movie, excuse me, on Peacock, the NBC owned, I believe, streaming service, Peacock. And if I can pull it up for you guys, do 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 do. Gonna get this going right here. Here we go. Check this out. So, yes, it says right here, Mr. Monk's Last Case. I can't pronounce that gentleman's name, but the detective is back This is reported by Variety. As you see, the man looks like he's never aged at all, right? Uh, Monk was a show about a gentleman who worked with the detective unit. He could solve any crime you can think of, but he was an extreme germaphobe. Now I'm just trying to remember this knowledge based on what my wife had told me because she's the one that actually got me into. I didn't binge watch it like her, but my wife, any show she was watching, I'll always tune in myself. So I was very glued to this show because I'm like, okay, this is interesting. This is interesting. And it was it was a good show. It was a really good show. Funny. It was more like a comedic detective crime show. And which I'm like, hey, look, I you can't go wrong with a comedic crime show because we got so many crime shows until it's not even funny. We got Law and Order, we got Chicago PD, we have I've already said Law and Order. I believe we still have Criminal Minds. We got so many. Long story short, we got so many. Um, but this was a show that always was, family friendly, funny. I know they show reruns on Hallmark. So to hear that they came out with with a reboot that's just a film, I'm like, okay, good. And it's on Peacock. So if you have Peacock on the streaming service, check out this film, Monk's Monk's Last Case. Uh, I think it will be great. I think it will succeed. I know I'm curious to look at the ratings or the reviews after the film. But I will be tuning into it. I think it's interesting that they brought this out during the holiday season. Which I'm curious to see if the film might have like a holiday twist to it. But I can't even remember the last time Monk was off air. I want to say like maybe like mid to late 2000s, maybe early 2000s, like the like oh nines or oh 10 and 2010s. I could be wrong, but again, I wasn't like really into that show like that. But it gets me thinking like what other successful popular show would be great as a reboot but as a film and not a TV show, cuz sometimes I think a lot of great TV shows they fail they fail in my opinion if they come back as another TV show. Just come back with a film. If the film I feel like is harmless compared to like starting back up with a TV show. Uh I'm binge watching right now at the moment Living Singles. Living Singles is to me a pop culture, really just it's a national treasure. It's a pop culture phenomenon. Um it's very popular and it was very important in the black community because you never saw you saw a show that really spoke on relatable conversations. It's funny, it made you cry, it made you think, it did so much for the community. Um and also it was a hell of a lot better than Friends. I said it, all you Friends fanatics out there. It was better than Friends. If it wasn't for Living Singles, it wouldn't be a Friends, okay? Friends happened to just get all the money in the longer seasons, which in my opinion was well deserved for Living Singles. Now, after Living Singles, each of them had become very successful. I would say Queen Latifah, we all know her resume, her catalog. She has been extremely successful. Kim Fields, of course, we see her continue to, I mean, TV royalty. She's killing it right now with the Upshaws. Um, Kim Coles, I know I mean, she still is very relevant, still very popular, staying on the road, doing stand up, all that great stuff. Um, Now, the two gentlemen that play Kyle and Obi. I know Obi. I can't remember his actual name, but he goes on the road. He still does tours. Uh, he's been in my hometown a few times through actually a mutual friend who is a promoter and a comedian. Uh, Kyle, the last time I saw him was on I saw him on Greenleaf a couple times. I've seen him uh sing in Macy's commercials. So and I think he does a lot of music now. So they're all doing great. Maxine, I mean, come on, I've seen her a few times playing some serious roles in like some of these crime shows. She's a talent. She's extremely talented. Um yeah, I mean everybody is doing great of that show, but I would love to see a movie in living singles. I would love to see a movie. Let me see what else. Jamie Foxx, I think would be great because I didn't like the way Jamie Foxx ended. Um, The Sopranos, which I think they made one as like Little Tony, but they need to do a reboot TV show of The Sopranos, in my opinion. Um, yeah, those are just a few I can think of, but yeah, check out this movie. I think it's gonna be great. I will share my thoughts on it after watching it on this show. But I think it is a great. I think it's gonna be dope. I think it's gonna be real dope. Monk's Last Case on Peacock, airing on Peacock. So that will be a great treat to tune in. Lastly, well, actually, I got a couple more. I'm over here looking at my notes. I'm like, lastly, had to wet my whistle. Not lastly. So check this out, guys. What is your thoughts on people wearing like black ski mask out in the public? Now, I'm not saying for if it's too cold, they're just keeping their face warm. No, I'm just talking about in general, right? The reason why I bring this up because excuse me, there is a article about there's an article about Philadelphia. Now, Philadelphia City Council is moving forward. I believe they're moving forward, or um, they might have already put it out there, but they are going to be having a ski mask ban. Now, you're probably wondering, well, what's so big about this ski mask ban, right? Um, I'm a in my opinion, why they even thought of this was because they have it right here saying, and this is reported by WHYY PBS, and the goal of the ban is to cut down on violent crime committed by those wearing ski masks concealed their identities. Now, I can agree with that because in a ski mask, you can't tell. All you see is eyes. You don't know who. And if y'all been living in the same world I'm living at right now, there's some crazy people out here. Okay, there's some crazy people out here in the world. So Philadelphia. Now I have a close friend who lives in Philadelphia. Um, Philadelphia has a fairly high crime rate. But I feel as though everywhere in America has a pretty high crime rate. Um, but excuse me, I feel as though it has a high crime rate, and I can't. I think this is actually a great idea because so we have some rappers that will rock the ski mask, saying, "Okay, it's a part of my fashion policy." Like, Yay, okay, formerly known as Kanye West, he's big on wearing the ski mask. Um, Now I guess you're gonna say, "Well, Arrington, a lot of celebrities might wear ski masks. They don't want to be seen. They don't want to be, they don't want paparazzi to catch them." Yeah, I get that, and I remember, like, back in the day, Michael Jackson was known to do that from time to time. Really, he had his kids wear masks, but his kids were harmless. They were short, little people wearing a ski mask to avoid camera time. Um, for anyone that is opposed of this rule, I would love to know your reason why you oppose this. Again, anything to keep individuals safe, I'm all for, but also why wear a ski mask? Like, I've gone to grocery store where people wear ski masks, or I've gone to concert where people wear ski masks. I'm like, why are you wearing it? Like, why? It's like I worry sometimes. I worry sometimes. Now, again, my question. I wonder. I'll have to look in details, and I'm pretty sure they might have some adjustments. But okay, what about um religious belief? Because even like in the Muslim culture, they're not ski masks. I forgot. I'm forgetting the term. Um, hijab. I might be mispronouncing. I apologize. But what like um does that prohibit that culture from wearing their veils? Think about it. I always like to be a little thought provoking here and there. Like, think about that. Um, because trust and believe somebody that is an avid ski mask wearer, they would again counter with those arguments. Counter like what is this? Why? And it's a fine. It is a fine that they will have to pay for, and I believe that fine is around 200 and oh, excuse me. This bill calls for a fine up to $2,000. Wow, I was gonna say 250, but $2,000, for wearing a mask, hood, ski mask, uh, balaclava. I, I know I did not pronounce that, or other devices or means of hiding, concealing, or covering any portion of the face. Okay, with the specific intent to intimidate or threaten another person. Hey, they might need to. Hey, I think someone's gonna bring up. Okay, so what about the Muslim culture? Mm-hmm. Sure will. Sure will. But that's interesting though. That's interesting. I'm gonna continue to talk about this probably on my radio show, just to kind of get the listeners on the airwaves thoughts on that, because that's an interesting story. But yeah, that's happening in Philadelphia as we speak. I will continue to tune into that and see what's going on that realm. Um, lastly, it's the holiday season, and I am a diehard fan of some good old Hallmark Christmas movies. They're extremely corny. I know they're extremely corny, but I love it. It gets me in the mood. It gets me in the mood for the holiday season. So Hallmark has, I think it's a new division. It's not a new channel, or it might be a new channel, but they have something called Hallmark Mahogany. Now, Hallmark Mahogany has all is really showing all black, predominantly black casted movies. Now, when I started watching Hallmark, I've realized in every movie, I'm like, where the black people at? I ain't seen not a black individual, and if I did, they were they were uh I don't know, like a custodian or a I don't know. They were they were anybody but the main character. I'll say that. They might have had some small roles, but under the Mahogany list, they're all black films, predominantly black films. Which I'm happy, because, like I said, majority of the Hallmark Christmas movies that I remember, they were predominantly white, all white. They only saw one black person. Um, and I was like, well, wow, they need to have some more diversity in Hallmark, because Hallmark's starting to look a little too lily for me. Like, they're starting to look a little too, Snow White. Like, come on, add some diversity. Be realistic. Not every town is cute like that. Like, come on, be realistic. But now I see, they have this platform or this division called Hallmark Mahogany, which is cool, but I can't lie. It's like, in my mind, I'm like, you shouldn't have to have just a separate platform for just like, all right, here we gonna put all the black people in. All right. Now, I can see black people saying, "Well, Arrington, we need our own platform." So I'm happy about it. I won't be watching it, all the good stuff. Yes, but at the end of the day, I'm an individual where how do we continue to grow as a country or move forward if we always kind of I don't it's like BT, we need BT. I love BT. TV1, we need TV1. I love TV1. The Black Star Network, we need Black Star Network. The Grio, we need our predominantly black platforms. But Hallmark did not start off as a black platform. They started off as a white platform. And now they're starting a black division or black, portion of their series of black films. Again, it's like I like it, but I'm like, are y'all meeting a quota? Did the board of directors say, "Hey, look, you need to be more, black, so let's just start." Like, just I mean, you already have Hallmark, mystery Hallmark channel. Like, just just have those films on your most watched channels, right? Don't put these in the categories mahogany, Hallmark Mahogany. They're Hallmark Christmas movies. Damn it. That's just me. I don't know. I'm weird like that. And please correct me if I'm wrong on this. And if saying Arrington, you're completely wrong, and this is why I wanna hear it because hey, I can be corrected. I can give you my opinion. I'm giving my unfiltered opinion. Um, but but yeah, I just had to bring that up because, like I said, it's the holiday season. I'm always gonna be tuned into some good Christmas movies. But until then, look, y'all enjoy y'all weekend. Please continue to tune into the Arrington Gavin podcast every Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time via podcast or wherever you get your podcast from. Also, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time via YouTube. Um, Tune in if you have, tune into past episodes to catch up. I have some great content on here and it's continuing to grow and grow and grow. Also, tune into my weekly radio show in your city, which airs every Sundays at 12 p.m. on WNSB 91.1 FM, the soul of EA, alongside my family, comedian Ciroc Fox, and hustle queen Miss Michelle Young. Tune in with us every Sunday as we talk about some, of course, trending news, local and state level, news, entertainment news, gossip. We just have a lot of fun, share some great music as well, and tune into that podcast. So I'm a busy man. And also, too, I forgot to mention in the beginning, hey, the Arrington Gavin podcast is presented by Rugged Evolution Beard Care. Rugged is the new smooth. So, look, if you want to treat that bearded gentleman in your life with some great beard care products, man, look, it's the holiday season. So, why not treat them? I know Rugged has some great sales going on right now. If you want to check them out, all you have to do is go to ruggedevo.com. Okay, that's ruggedevo.com. Follow them on their socials at Rugged Evo. And yeah, enjoy yourselves. But until next time, my friends, I will see you on Monday for another great edition of the Aaron Gavin podcast. Hey, deuces.